intelligent platform solutions.
Correct.
So for people who are not familiar, tell them what that means and how these different pieces are integrated.
So when you think about implementing AI today, all those technologies I just talked about are super complex. For example, we last year deployed the world's first oil-based immersion cooling. What does that mean? We literally put computers inside of recycled oil inside of a tank for efficiency use and power and actually environmental friendliness. That's just an example of one technology. Advanced compute technology with memory interconnecting with high bandwidth opportunities to increase the performance of GPUs, another good example. Then we have a layer of software on top of it that manages all the environment, knows when predictive stuff is going down as far as fault identification and repair, scheduling and provisioning. And so we have this host of solutions that actually makes the deployment piece pretty seamless for us, and that we're really good at that.
Mark.
The geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China that have arisen in light of the presidential elections have caused some difficulties for NVIDIA stock recently. But despite all of these setbacks, the company has managed to deliver excellent news to all NVIDIA enthusiasts and stock investors. It was reported that NVIDIA is significantly increasing its orders with the Taiwanese giant TSMC. This move would have many extremely positive implications on the stock, as well as on the company's profits and revenues. But what exactly happened, and how would it affect the firm is what we will explore in today's video. So make sure not to miss out. However, before you do, if you'd like to stay up to date on NVIDIA's most recent updates and the most recent news from the stock market, you can subscribe to our channel. We publish daily updates about the biggest shifts in market catalysts. So click the bell icon button to ensure you don't miss the most recent updates. All right, back to today's video.
What is this Gen AI enthusiasm going to mean for your business? Because you guys are also considerably smaller than some of those names that he just mentioned.
Yeah.
Are we going to start to see growth really ramp up for you guys as well as we've got all this demand for Gen AI?
I think that's where we're at. Actually, I think I've said in kind of prior earnings calls was that 23 and 24 were kind of the years of GPU sales. Everyone was like, GPUs getting sold off everywhere. Well, now they have to deploy them, and there's so little deployment yet really in corporate enterprise today. The hyperscalers, sure, and we've got one of those as our biggest customer. But if you look at traditional Fortune 500 enterprises, they're all kind of doing proof of concept, but they're not quite sure what AI is going to do. Now we're in that deployment phase, and that's going to benefit us. We feel really in a good way.
What percentage of your business, Mark, would you say now is AI related?
If you factor in where we're going with memory, it's kind of 2/3 or above, and it's going to grow more and more that way.
And what was it, versus,
when I started, when I took over the CEO job back in August of 20, it was 78%, 77% memory, and very little.
This move, which has been long overdue, was necessary because NVIDIA's continuous demand for chips has been exceeding supply capacity for some time. NVIDIA has been trying to reduce this issue recently, but this news addressed the issue at its root. According to a report published by United Daily News, NVIDIA was expected to deliver about 40,000 Blackwell units. However, recent reports indicate that NVIDIA has finally managed to increase its orders with the experienced chip manufacturer TSMC by 25% because the demand for Blackwell is much higher than the company expected. But this figure has been upgraded to 60,000 with the GB200 NVL36 accounting for 50,000. TSMC said that this didn't just happen overnight, as they have been witnessing a huge demand on these chips, especially from the tech giants such as Meta, Tesla, Google, and Microsoft, who have been literally racing to get their hands on the Blackwell units as much as possible. Even Amazon, who's well known for manufacturing its own chips, couldn't avoid buying Blackwell chips in gigantic amounts. This isn't really a surprise, as Blackwell has already been named even before it's released the world's most powerful AI chip, as the chip features 208 billion transistors, and it's manufactured using TSMC's 4-nanometer processor. How will this enormous order impact NVIDIA's earnings and share price, given that this architecture supports AI training and real-time large language model inference? Let's dive right in. Greetings to all, and welcome back to Investing Tutorial. AI remains worth watching segment for global investors in 2024. But how do you keep up with the AI sector and others that you may be interested in? I recommend trying Moomoo, a sponsor of today's video. Some features to discover stocks with investment potential has blown me away. You can use the industry chain to find companies throughout the entire AI sector, or use the stock screener to filter stocks according to your investment strategy. Having the option to set parameters like industry, market indicators, financial indicators, technical indicators, and more. Ultimately, discover potentially undervalued stocks and those that appear to show buy signals to help inform your strategies in an effort to capitalize on AI-related opportunities. At the same time, Moomoo is one of the cheapest trading platforms I've found. It offers zero commission on stocks, options, and ETS. After comparisons, I've discovered the fees are among the lowest. Right now, new users who open an account using my link and make a qualified deposit can get up to 15 free stocks, enjoy a limited time 8.1% APY on idle cash for 3 months, and earn up to $300 cash reward for transferring in their portfolio. These rewards can be earned together, so don't miss out. And thanks again to Moomoo for sponsoring this portion of the video.
Is that in these large language models, the number of parameters that run these models are going to like triple, quadruple, and so from that perspective, the amount of compute resources and data center resources are going to be substantial. What's interesting right now in the data center space is there's not enough of them with AI power. There's not enough megawatts, so there's a constraint right now on data centers that are enabled to drive AI, and so that's providing a lot of motivation for people to make that investment. So I think it's pretty favorable from an investment standpoint on the infrastructure piece.
What about, Mark, I'm just thinking about customers. How about crypto miners? Just given all the hardware they buy, is that a natural customer for you all?
It's funny you say that. The answer is absolutely yes, because we have looked at that space for a long time, and given the supply challenges around what I just said in terms of data centers, these people have immense amount of power, and the crypto business is pretty volatile. So if you look at some of the bigger crypto companies that are public companies, they've all announced an AI strategy, and yet they don't necessarily have the experience of 25 years of doing this type of infrastructure. They're great customers. We announced one today at our Analyst Day. It was our first ever software and services non-hardware deal with a company called Voltage Park, which is a tier 2 cloud service provider. We're installing 24,000, something like that, 24,000 GPUs in 4 data centers with them. Massive deployment, and they're converting their business from a prior model. That's true with other crypto players. That's really an interesting point you make.
There was a note out from economists and researchers at Goldman Sachs earlier this week that said, maybe Gen AI isn't going to be as big as we're thinking it is, because if you look at it, to your point, it being deployed in enterprises, it's hardly a blip at this point, and maybe it's not going to get there. They're not going to figure out what the use cases are. It doesn't sound like, though, you're seeing that necessarily in your business. Are you still confident that that trajectory is still going to happen as predicted?
Well, I mean, there's two pieces of that question the way I interpret it. The capital markets, there's just been some irrational valuations going on, and we're an operating company. We make money, we strengthen our balance sheet, what have you, and so we're a little more boring that way. But I think both the answers could be true. I think there's a lot of growth from here because people now are starting to think about how to deploy it. Now the question is the upside of how much growth that is. That's a hard one to call. I just think where people are struggling in the enterprise right now is, okay, I get what the technology can do, but what's it mean to me? Like the classic case study right now is ad revenue. So when we do these searches and people track us, and the next day these ads show up and they're the same ads we're looking at yesterday, okay. So, but if you're in healthcare, if you're in some other business, what's the kind of commercial value you're driving from an AI strategy? And I think that's the stage we're in is, okay, we understand the technology, how does it commercially become viable to give us an advantage in our business? And that's what we're seeing our customers to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, try to figure out. All right, Mark, thank you so much for coming in. Really good to talk to you. Appreciate it.
The growth in server cabinet shipments for NVIDIA, the GB200 NVL72 and GB200 NVL36, from 40,000 to 60,000 units, with high selling prices of $1.8 million for the GB200 NVL36 and $3 million for the GB200 NVL72, is expected to greatly boost the company's earnings. If every one of the extra 20,000 units has GB200 NVL36, of course, NVIDIA's earnings may soar to a whopping $36 billion. This increase supports significant revenue and profit growth for NVDA, as does the possibility of economies of scale and the robust market demand for high-performance computing solutions in AI and data centers. And this is unquestionably fantastic news for TSMC, since the company's sales will increase due to the strong demand for its 3-nanometer processors and the rapidly expanding need for its 4-nanometer CPUs. Prior to handing over the reins in June, TSMC's former chairman Mark Liu had already forecasted that the demand for AI applications seems more positive than it did a year ago. Current chairman CCWEI has also noted that AI applications are just getting started, and like everyone else, he is optimistic. In light of the current circumstances, what does this mean for NVIDIA's stock? Let's find out, but first, thank you for watching if you made it this far. Our videos require a lot of work and time to produce, so if you found them entertaining, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel.
Fitzgerald, Senior Managing Director, joins us now. He has a buy rating on ASML, price target of $1,320, and says despite geopolitical risks, focus on growth. All right, well, let's start off with the geopolitical risks if we can, CJ. What do you make of it? Both, the former president's comments about Taiwan and perhaps more importantly, what may be coming moves from the Biden administration to even try and tighten up these restrictions on China getting a hold of high-end chips.
Yeah, good morning. I think, the potential for more restrictions is real, but I would highlight that, we've already limited EUV, unavailable to China, and ASML, currently cannot service 5 different factories in China. And so the intent is really to limit China's ability to build leading edge semiconductors. And I think that the efforts the Department of Commerce, the BIS, have put through have done that. But clearly when you saw that 7-nanometer chip come out of Huawei in China, that led to the red flag. And so, I think there are considerations. It is bipartisan in D.C., but I would, suggest that we've already done enough on that front. So I think, the pullback in stocks, particularly ASML.
As of the time of this video, NVIDIA's stock is trading at about $118. Although the geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China caused the stock to plummet, many analysts believe the stock will rise for a number of reasons. Firstly, there is the tremendous anticipation for the Blackwell architecture, along with the company's ongoing innovation and unwavering demand. Secondly, NVIDIA will continue to soar, with revenue and profits expected to rise by an additional $36 billion. These factors will undoubtedly have a positive effect on the company's stock, especially considering that NVIDIA's supply chain has seen notable improvements over the last 2 quarters thanks to strategic partnerships and upgrades to production facilities. Partnerships with major players in the market, such Micron Technology Foxconn. This advancement has been made possible by NVIDIA encouraging these manufacturers to invest in emerging technologies in order to increase and enhance their production capacities. Samsung Foundry, ASML, and TSMC have all played a significant role in this. This supply chain improvement is essential to NVIDIA's quick expansion because supplying the huge demand for GPUs while maintaining a strong and effective supply chain was the key barrier to increasing revenues. As it competes with other businesses in the AI and high-performance computing industries, NVIDIA gains a competitive edge in the GPU market. With all of these considerations, NVIDIA is unquestionably a great buy, especially if you're looking to invest for the long term because the company hasn't reached its full potential yet. What do you think about NVIDIA stock? Is it a good buy at the current price? Please share your opinions with us in the comments section. And don't forget to let us know what you think NVDA is worth. If you're interested in learning what other companies, like NVIDIA, have been up to lately, click on the next video on your screen. We'll see you there.